Well, hi everybody, this is Sue Cigaris here and welcome to this week's edition of Food with Love. It's a new series that I've created especially to celebrate the gift of pure, natural, beautiful foods into our lives, into our bodies, and to help educate and inspire you to be able to treat your body with the greatest respect, have a wonderfully healthy system, and really enjoy eating delicious, beautiful food and empowering yourselves to create what you feel is really going to suit you. So welcome and good afternoon. It's Saturday and I'm going to get right into creating my muesli supply for the week. Now, I've just finished getting my ingredients out of the pantry, so I'll close the door. And just a few words about what inspired me to make this particular video is one of my clients who was having difficulty regularly taking breakfast. And so she was going off, rushing out, off to work, running her business, doing all the things that she was doing for her family and not eating any breakfast. So by the time she sort of came up for air at around about 11 o'clock, there was a couple of coffees already under the belt and started wanting to eat the sweet things. And then lunchtime, she wasn't really hungry, so she skipped that. And mid-afternoon, sugar cravings again, and on we go through the day until dinner time. She comes home and she realizes that, yes, there's a lovely dinner, but I shouldn't eat too much because I've had too much sugar. So she restricted her nutrient intake there, finished her dinner, and then uncontrollably munched out in the evening and went to bed, you know, once again, full of quick fix comfort food, and had a slightly restless sleep and felt terrible in the morning. And this was actually a practice. This was not just one day. This was day after day was how she was functioning. And so we came up with the idea that we could break this pattern if we could get her to have breakfast in the morning. And that was difficult because it wasn't in her habits, it wasn't in her behaviour patterns, and there was a lot of reasons why that could probably get interrupted. So what I've offered is, this is what I do for myself, is I create my whole week's breakfast on one day. So I have one session with myself on the weekend and I really enjoy it because I'm setting myself up in a loving and kind way, and I'm choosing beautiful quality foods from a place where I'm not in any rush, I'm not stressed, I've got all the things I need, and I can actually create what I know is going to be best. So let's dive right into it. We're going to have there are several components to a good muesli. We need a grain component, we need a protein component, and then I like to add a little bit of sweetness, flavour and interest. And so what I've chosen today as my base, a very popular base, is to use rolled oats. So I'll just show them to you a little bit closer up. They are, they're just simple, natural rolled oats. They're not pre-cooked or anything. There's nothing added. You know, when you look on the packet, all it's got is oats. It might say water. Oats, that's it. There's no preservatives, there's no salt, there's no sugar, just oats. It's really nice to be able to see what you're actually eating. So I'm putting in about, you know, a generous cup or so of oats. And today I'm going to add some triticale. So I put about a quarter of that. It's a slightly more chewy, nutty flavoured grain, and it's a hybrid of barley and wheat, actually, is triticale. And I'm also going to throw in a little bit of rye. I got some rye last week, and it's beautiful. This one here, rolled rye flakes. And again, there's no nasties in here. What it's got on the packet ingredients: rye, 100%. That's it. So we're going to put some rye in there, and just sprinkle that in on the top. That's a darker sort of grain. It's a little bit heavier. You know what it's like when you buy pure rye bread. It's almost black, really. But that's the beautiful grain, a simple rolled rye. And if you're thinking, wow. The truth is, when I eventually serve it up, I always put a bit of a splash of boiling water over it, and I let it sit there while I go off and have my shower or something. So I don't eat it cold. I don't eat it dry or cold. But if you feel like eating it that way, you can. It's entirely up to you. So here are our grains, and I just mix them through lightly. And I'm going to add a protein element here. I've got some beautiful plain sunflower seeds. They're just simple seeds. They're not toasted or anything. They're just the plain raw sunflower seeds. They're unhulled. The hulls that normally come on the seeds are actually they're black, and they're very, very hard, and not that you couldn't really eat them. When they make paste, a seed paste, they might use the hull as well to give extra texture and flavour. But for this, I'm going to keep them just purely natural. They're lovely to eat. So that's my seeds. That's adding a little bit of protein. And I've also got 2 kinds of nuts that I'm going to put in today. And I just need to grab a chopping board. Okay, here I am back again. And I'm going to roughly chop a handful, a little bit more of almonds. And I also have some cashew nuts. So I choose my nuts depending on what I have in the house or what I feel like having that week. And last week we had walnuts actually, and this week we're having the cashews and the almonds chopped up. And I've actually purchased from the health food shop organic nuts, which are dry roasted. And now this is lovely because not only are we adding some protein with our nuts, we also have natural oils from the nuts that we're adding too. Nut oils are lovely. And because they've been lightly dry roasted, we're also getting that nice element of a toasted flavour without actually going all the way into a heavy toasted muesli. That's all full of extra oil and stuff that you don't need. So we've got enough oil there in the nuts. We're going to add a little bit more in the way of oil, again a natural oil. I'm going to add some coconut. Coconut is delicious in muesli. This is simple, raw, organic, shredded coconut. So you can see here it's the flesh of the coconut, and it is dried out after it's been shredded. And so I just sprinkle some of that through it, and it's just lovely. It adds texture, and it's also very slightly sweet, but it doesn't have any added sugar other than the naturally occurring sugar that's in the coconut. So I put that out of the way. So this is all lovely coming along. Now some people would just stop there because they find my next element, which is some dried fruits. Some people find that a little bit too intense on the sugars. Personally, I am a bit of a sweet tooth, and I do enjoy my dried fruits, and I love these raisins. They're just regular old Australian sunbeam raisins, and they're just so, look at that, so juicy and shiny and plump. And so I just sprinkle a few of those through. Nice little surprise in your mouth, sweetness. And then we have some currants, little sweet things, a few of those. And I've also got these fabulous goji berries, which are dried. So dry they got stuck. Dried goji berries, and there's no added sugar in these ones. Be fairly discerning when you buy your goji berries, because a lot of the time the berries, the goji and the cranberry, they sweeten them. So you don't want any added sugar in this. So we put it all through there like that. The reason I keep going on about this no added sugar is because what we're trying to get is that lovely effect of sustained energy. So not only do we find our breakfast really satisfying, we also don't need a huge quantity of it. A little bit goes a long way. And so you can actually enjoy the sweetness of the fruit. You get that little instant yum, slight fructose elevation, and then all of the other beautiful complex carbs come through and actually sustain you and keep you going. And of course, there's plenty of vitamins and minerals and all sorts of things in the whole mixture. And so, you know, I quite often find that even at 12:30 or 1 o'clock, I'm not ravenously hungry. And, you know, I in the old days when I didn't have the right breakfast, I'd get really hungry about 11:30 or 12. And if I didn't get fed by 12:30, you know, I'd be hangry like that. Nowadays, I find, well, you know, maybe I'll have something now, maybe I'll wait. Is there anything available that is, you know, nutritious and good quality? And if I can't see what I need immediately available, and I know that maybe I can get back home or to a better food provider, you know, within, you know, by about 2 o'clock, I'll be happy enough. You know, I'll just go along with that if I'm not already carrying an emergency supply of nuts in the car or something like that. Okay, so that's my muesli. It's that easy. Like, it's 5 minutes, once a week, 5 minutes, you're done. And of course, there is the providing of, you know, you've actually got to get the ingredients to start with. Many of them you can just get at the local supermarket. So if you're going for milk or whatever, you can go and get most of these ingredients, your raisins, currants, seeds, nuts, you know, coconut. If you look on the packet, you can get some pretty good things, rolled oats. If you want that extra variety of the different sorts of dried fruits, the different sorts of grains, the organic material, and making sure that they actually haven't added anything at all, you're probably better off choosing a health food shop in your local area that stocks those things. And I go maybe once a month and just stock up on my provisions. And then the rest of the time, I'm using them here in the muesli and in other sorts of dishes and food that I'm making. So now the next piece is to fill up our jar. So this is my nice clean muesli jar ready for the week. And I'm simply going to just put the muesli, just scoop it up like this, fill up my jar. Now, if you try and buy muesli off the shelf, I would challenge you, if you find anyone, let me know, if you can get a muesli that is truly without any added sugar, without any preservatives, and honestly does have the beautiful proportion of wonderful ingredients that we have here. If you can buy that for less than $10 or $12, let me know. I don't think you can. This is actually a very, very economical way to create a beautiful muesli. Now, I've got half a jar there. Usually I make a bigger lot, but I'm just showing you what I normally do. And that there would last me for at least 5 days. I normally just scoop it out with a little serving spoon like this, holds about a tablespoon or so, and I'll put 3 or 4 scoops of it into a bowl. Like I said, in the morning, as soon as I get in the kitchen, on goes the kettle, you know, fuss around, put a few scoops of muesli in a bowl. When your kettle's boiled, apart from making whatever morning drink you make, a little bit of hot water just to cover the grains, and then you go off and get ready. And then when you're ready to serve your breakfast, you have a choice whether you want to put any kind of different milk on it. I use soy milk on mine if I feel like milk. Otherwise, I just leave it as hot water that's already been there, that's soaked right into the grains. And then I'll add some natural yogurt on top. And sometimes I might cut up a bit of fresh fruit as well. People that don't use as much dried fruit in their muesli might prefer to use fresh fruit instead. So there you go. That's how easy it is to make your breakfast for the whole week. So every morning, it's a no-brainer. You're just giving yourself something really beautiful. You can eat it before you leave for work, or you take it in the car, whatever you need to do, or pop it in a lunchbox and have a little nibble through your first meeting if they let you. And just make sure that you're giving yourself the top quality, the top priority, because you deserve it. It's food with love. So until next week, have a lovely time, and I'll see you soon. Bye.